Hi, this is Brian Frost. Today we'll be looking at Google Anthos and the Anthos Configuration Management tool. So I am a Google certified cloud architect, one of the Anthos early adopters, and one of the cloud architects for Techolution. I've included my email address, my actual email address here. So if you want to discuss some Anthos, please get in contact. Let me start off by just telling you a little bit about the environment. We're going to be working in one of the labs, the Techolution labs. This one is in New York, New Jersey area, and it's a pair of servers, pair of HP servers, with it's just a nice small little lab. It's got F5 virtual environment F5, front-ending things for Ingress. It has NAS, a Synology NAS that's offering up flash storage. It's running 6.5 of vCenter and vSphere. And that's probably all the important stuff to learn about. Let me show you a little bit about what's here. Let's see, get pods. Might be interesting to note though, because we're going to mess with the finance namespace, and the finance namespace has a couple applications. It's two applications. This one has one pod. This one has 3 pods. And if I were the bad guy hacker and I was able to get in and look around somehow, or not even directly but indirectly was able to get an application to do some bad things for me, I might look for something like finance and the bank accounts. And I'm very super angry hacker guy. So what? Let's go ahead and just let's do this. What we'll do is we'll actually watch that namespace. And if any changes happen to it, we're going to see those pop up and happen. So we'll switch back over here. Look, our good guys the namespace is just running away. It's only been running for a little over an hour because I destroyed this a little bit earlier. So what we're going to do is we'll get the pods from here. Well, you can actually see them here, so we don't have to take the time. Those things live inside of the finance namespace. So what we're going to do is we're going to be the bad guy, and we're going to delete that whole namespace. And boom, it's deleted. Now let's watch it over here. It's terminating. It's shutting down right now. This goes every couple seconds. So we're seeing it get torn down. But the operator's watching right now. And the operator's having none of that. So in the time that it's taking to delete this, it's already got a hook that has flagged it and told it something's changing, and it's changing in one of the objects that it is managing, and so it's going to go fix things. And it has a good reference. It has been caching from GitHub, and maybe that's something we need to review for a moment. Is what ACM does is it uses a methodology called GetOps, and GetOps uses your configuration management. That's not even the right word. It uses your source control environment to a Git-based one to store your configurations, and then this has several processes inside of it that go pull down that Git repo or changes in the Git repo every 15 seconds. That's configurable. So it's pulling them down somewhat continually. And as it notices changes, it has a couple other processes. There's 4 total that go and make modifications and change things back for you. Or they will implement things for you as well. So if I implement a new security policy in the Git repo, then everything that it ought to apply to, and you've got a lot of ways you can customize that, it'll go take that policy and it'll pull it on down for you, and it'll implement it. And you can have different policies. There's cluster selectors, and there's several different types of selectors that you can use. No, I have 2. The one I think specifically is interesting is the cluster selector. so that if I had an environment that had prod machines and dev machines and QA machines, or clusters, I could tell it what kind of cluster it was. And then based on that, I can have different security policies apply to those. Maybe they get more stringent as you move up the SDLC stack. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. You could do it by country or by city. That in London, these get this type of workload. In France, they get this kind of workload. But what happened here was Joe Q, hacker, bad guy, deleted the finance namespace. And we actually saw it disappearing. You'll see that not only did it come back, but all of the managed objects that were within that namespace also came back too. So for this next little bit, I don't want you to have to watch me type, so I pasted it into my queue here. But we're going to look at what role bindings are currently being managed by ACM. They all get this wonderful label to allow you to see what things are being managed by ACM and which things aren't. So we're going to start watching that role binding for cluster admins, role-based access control. So you have roles, and then you bind a user to a role or some other object to a role, and then they take on those attributes, and it allows you to make changes to roles, almost like a group, but that's a group of permissions. Usually it's one permission, or it's a group of single permissions often. Well, anyway, so I'm going to go edit this particular role because I don't care for that John Doe, and I'm going to replace him with me because I'm up to no good, or I think I'm better than John Doe. Maybe that's the one. All right, so you can see who's got access there, and so, or who has that role, and lots of people can have that role. And as quick as I hit it, look, I could see that you could see that it changed it to me, and then the operator was having none of that, and so it put it back, and John Doe is in charge once again. So I kind of like this role-based stuff. Security is one of the great places where this would really serve us well. So let's watch something else. Let's watch namespace readers. All right, it seems that we have two people here, two user accounts. There is other guy at techolution.com and yet another guy at techolution.com. So what we should do now is we should actually do this backwards, actually. What we're going to do is we're going to check things in the correct way into the repo and make changes the way that we ought to make them, the controlled way, the one that goes through all the right permissions and make sure that the right people approve of our changes. I'm trying to type while talking, and that's hard. There we go. So I'm going to do just a nice job, and now that they kicked me out of the cluster admin club, maybe I'll at least just be able to read namespaces. So we're going to put me in here, and I'll hang out with the good company of other guy and yet another guy. Let's go watch and see what. Oh, I didn't push it. So we'll do a git commit, and we'll say added Brian.Frost to namespace readers. Role binding. All right, then we're going to push it. Not going to have any merge conflicts. And it takes 15 seconds or so for this to notice the change, because it doesn't just sit there and beat up your source control. It gives it a little bit of time. But within 15, look at that. Now, as we look at it, you can see that I got access. So this is a good day for me. So we're going to continue to watch this. All right, see this token? So that token right there allows us to see what happened. I'm going to paste it in here in Git. Oh, and this is the one we're looking for. Look, this is where Brian was added, and he messed everything up. So we're going to do a get revert. I'm going to roll back one. I'm going to push. So this is going back to Git. This could happen, and I would assume most places would do this in an automated fashion. But you can see that I made an update through the official manners, and now the operator, which is watching that repo, is going to roll back that change. And now Brian Frost no longer has access. So I get a kick out of this. I hope y'all do too, and can see some of the value that ACM gives you with Anthos. It's not just Anthos and Kubernetes and having a really nice solid cluster, but there's a lot of other tools that go along with it as well. The the Anthos Migrate has really just blown up in the last couple weeks. They started with 2 different types. I think they're up to about 6 different types of migration methodologies. You can migrate from the other major clouds. You can migrate from vCenter. Lots of neat things there. So we'll look at those maybe next time. So thanks for spending a little time with me, and I hope you get to enjoy the goodness of Google Anthos in your own data center. Thanks, and have a great one.